can, spend the last 10 minutes, go around kind of quickly, and everyone to share. I'd love to know like one thing just really cool that you've seen working in your organization, in the last whatever, something that is a helpful, awesome. Thanks, Alec. A helpful and yeah, just like some like useful thing that made a meaningful impact in kind of the spirit of sharing good ideas for people to leave with.
I'll go first because I was thinking of saying something in response to Celine because she brought up accountability, and it's a big thing I think about that I think could be like a little pro tip, a little something to leave you guys with. So we've been doing virtual, everything's virtual, right? So how do I get these people to stay engaged the whole time and know that there is some accountability? It's not just some guy on the other side and they can shut off their video and go silent for the next 4 hours and hope for the best that I don't call on them. What I've been doing is I've been starting my trainings with a Kahoot. So this is like website that you can build out these quizzes and stuff. And my company paid for it. It was actually rather inexpensive for a full year. It was like $700 for like the highest level thing. And I start off with a Kahoot where I gauge their knowledge on the subject. And then I also throw in fun questions like, well, what's the show that you watched recently that we should all watch? Open word cloud thing. Then I tell them, stay logged in. Keep that on your phone or your tablet or whatever, because we're going to come back to that. And then I don't come back to it frequently, but at the end of the session, I say, all right, let's go in there again. They don't have to stay in that, but I want them to know that, hey, just leave that there. Don't close it out. We'll come back to it. I also try to do, I do breaks every hour. I teach a lot of long classes, several hours. Every hour I do a 5-minute break. I put up a countdown timer. I say, here's 5 minutes, be back in 5 minutes. And every time I come back and I say, all right, everybody raise your virtual hands. I have to see that you're back, And yes, there are people that we use Teams, so there's a little virtual hand. Not everybody raises their hand. I get it. I know that there's going to be people that drop off. But when I say I want you to put your hand up, sometimes people they will do that and they'll really, I feel like they know, okay, there's some accountability here. He's asking questions. He's making us do something. There's an activity that he gets to see who's answered through Kahoot, stuff like that. And it provides a little bit of accountability, even though we're all virtual. That's been helpful for me. So that's my way.
That's awesome. Social presence.
Yeah.
So do you require people to be on their cameras then, when they in this session? So
well,
how do you know?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so I mean that's kind of the paradox here is people are kind of zoomed out, the Zoom fatigue, and how do you keep them engaged and motivated when you gotten all of this meetings and everything else bombarding and you're trying to multitask and you're trying to do so many other different things. It's like the attention span can only do it, cognitive overload starts to get in, and then I mean you just got so many different competing priorities right now.
I will tell you another thing I do, Marcia. I am very, very into the idea that multitasking doesn't exist, that we all just switch task, the myth of multitasking. So I will start sessions off by showing I have open only this presentation in my Chrome browser, and the Chrome browser has 2 tabs, and I show them this is it. This is what I'm doing for the next 4 hours. Outlook is closed. You need to close it too. You're unavailable.
And
you're in a training class.
Something caught my attention. I'm so
Oh,
easily distracted.
Yeah.
And it's
like
something
like
pop up and alerts, and I'm like, that's what got my attention. I'm like, oh no,
That's why. Yep. That's why I tell them you have to turn those things off, because if you constantly have Outlook pinging you or Skype or whatever it is, I tell them you shut it off. You're not answering those people. We're doing this.
Yes.
I try to make it very
that's so
purposeful.
true, Andrew. Model the behavior you want to see. That is so true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alex sounds like a great example of that.
I try. And as far as the cameras, Marcia, I tell everybody, I try to get them to turn a camera on in the beginning. Hey, let's all get to know each other. Now I'm going to teach you. I'm going to share a screen. You might only have one screen. We'll turn off cameras. You don't need the extra distraction. But when it comes to the end, like where I'm doing quiz questions, or if we take a break where we're having a discussion, absolutely. I say, hey, turn your camera back on. By the way, we all haven't combed our hair today. It's okay, whatever. And if they don't, that's okay. I know people have good days and bad days, and I'm not going to force it on anybody. But I do try to get them to do it just to build that connection a little bit. A little bit.
That's good stuff. Anybody else got a pro tip or something that's worked well for them that they want to share?
Everybody's so shy. I guess I'll go. I mean, I think I brought up earlier around, I think a retrospective, some type of habitual practice. I think you do. Like we just finished a project on our team, and we did a couple of retros. I think it was a great experience for people. And there's so any type of reflection practice, small or doesn't have to be huge.
Yeah,
I think is incredibly important.
Yeah, and actually, Andy, this is something I really intend to get better at. I love this idea. I've started to use these Kahoots, right? So I quiz people at the end. I can also self-assign or just send out a link so they can complete it anytime. What I'd really like to do is I train you on Monday, I send you a Kahoot on Friday. Go do this extra and see if you still remember everything. Then maybe another time a month later.
You're talking about a space repetition, then you're trying to incorporate some type of space repetition, right?
Yeah.
But I really like, Andy, the thought of, and I don't know if this is exactly how you guys are doing it, but just the thought of making that a regular practice for people ingrained in their culture, that I personally have had this experience. Now let me take 5 minutes to reflect on the experience I had. Not training, not gone to train, but just I did this task and it's new for me and I learned from it. Now let me reflect on that. I love that.
Yeah, and a couple of things, just a couple other thoughts to that too. Like you can even share that. Like you could go back to the community aspect. You could share, create a channel or something where you're sharing that for folks, and then maybe at the next team meeting you can kind of summarize sort of some of the key takeaways for folks. Yeah. That's one way. Another way is I don't know if all of you have crowdsourcing platforms. Is there, a sort of a challenge or something like that could be bestowed upon that you could then put those ideas in a crowdsourcing platform that could lead to some type of solution. I don't know. I mean, again, there's so many ways. Human mind, we can be so creative. It's just enabling that creativity for folks.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. I just thought of this idea, Andy, which I'm totally gonna steal. All right. So what you said is that's a Someone Like Me blog, right, Celine? So that's a Someone Like Me blog, right? Yeah. But how do I get the person to write that blog? People don't want to write blogs, but you know what? Teams has a not a closed captioning, what's it called, a transcription feature now. They just rolled out, so I could get on the call with somebody and just tell me about it, and then it will transcribe it, and I'm like, well, here's your blog, do you want to go post it? That might be a good way to get it.
Actually, can I add, because I love improv, so we're just going to keep adding ideas here. So a great practice, I think, for any meeting is called kind of similar to your Kahoot idea. It's called a check-in question. So you ask get to know somebody personally, right? And then you can use your whatever service to transcribe it, whether it's Otter or Teams or whatever, right? You record that, and you could just, again, take that information, right, and then post it somewhere. Where, again, you're not, like your point, you're not writing, you're just saying it out loud, and you can easily just transfer it over to some technology and post it on the community or Teams or whatever.
You know what? It's interesting because I've worked for small, medium, and large companies. All of the tools and technologies are very different. And what I miss is using open source tools without having so bureaucratic layers to go through to get it right to the point of the need for the learner. And I really do miss that, because when I worked in a call center and was leading the learning and development for there, I was like, oh yeah, I could do this on our phones and our mobile apps. Now it's like I got to go through security, I got to get the firewall, I got to think about data protection and privacy. And I'm like, dang it, why do we have to make so many different barriers just to use the technology? So when Alex, when you're talking about, and you and Andy are talking about these tools, a Kahoot and everything else, and we use that, and all of a sudden IT got wind and said, shut that down, you can't use an open source tool, shut that down, you can't do this. And I'm like, dang, it takes out our ability to be just at the point of need, get feedback and evaluation, and then also do it in such a way that's not intrusive to the learner too. And then when you add Europe in there, you got the German Works Council, you got all these bureaucratic layers going on. So sometimes I envy that, because I'm just like, oh my God, you could put it out there and you won't have any problems or repercussions and stuff. So
no, I feel your pain. I work, again, in my company, we deal with the same problems, but
yeah, it's just we're trying to do better, if not it being so bureaucratic. And I think with our new CEO and some leadership changes, we'll get better, as we bring on a CIO too, because we got a lot of C-suite changes happening at the top. It'll get better, but I just miss those days of just being able to just put something out there and just crowdsource on
Fail
it.
fast.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. Yes. And it's not that expensive and, all those barriers.
Yeah, no, seriously, like the Kahoot thing, when I found that and I brought it to the HR, the senior manager, I was like, I don't
Yes.
know, well, will you give me money? He's like, $700. Yeah, go for it, Alex.
Right.
We haven't done like anything this year. So, and now it's being used, by the way. So the CEO uses it for team calls to engage them. They've done it for sales calls. So I took it as like, I just want to have this fun little like
Right.
trivia event. Now I'm using it for learning, and my CEO's taking it. It's like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I feel bad. We have less red tape, Marsha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm definitely seeing or hearing from everyone that leadership buy-in is a problem still, but it's changing, right? Like people, you're talking about these new leaders coming in, and they are prioritizing learning, and KPMG spending billions for a center for learning, and all these great examples of that. So I think the outlook's positive. I think the future is positive, and there's the scope for people, for these ideas that you guys have all shared, to actually kind of take root. So, yeah.
I fully agree,
Agreed.
Andrew. I think there's so much opportunity for learning out there. And then COVID has just, to me, enhanced it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, I know we are out of time. As always, it feels like it just went by and we could have talked for another hour.
Right.
Probably.
But I want to thank you all for making the time to be here, for kind of coming with so much to add and so much value to offer. We'll keep doing more of these. We've got another one in November. We'll probably take a break for the end of the year, and we'll have a lot more next year. So yeah, look forward to seeing you all more. And if you want to have one-on-one chats, I'm always here. So don't be a stranger.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for putting
Thank you
this
very
together,
much.
Andrew.
Thanks, guys. This was great.
Take care.
Nice meeting everybody.
Bye.
Yes.
See you.
You
Great to
too.
meet y'all.